could see the emotions were anger, sadness, and somewhere also, repentance. So I want to ask you now, we spoke about the movie earlier when you said, you were excited, and now it's out. What are your feelings about this entire journey?
I'm so struck by the overflow of emotions, and the kind of response people are having. I also think there's a feeling of hope, and
Yeah.
I also think there's a feeling of introspection. Introspecting on your own privileges, on um, the fact that it's easy to look away. Your own social consciousness, your own understanding worldview. I think this is a film that's shedding a lot of light on a lot of things for people, putting a lot of things in perspective. And I'm really proud of that. And I actually, more than anything, I'm really proud of the fact that it's not an angry film.
No, it's not.
It's not a film that's an argument. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
And I've been incredibly proud of this film from day one, and everything that has happened since has just made me more and more and more proud of it. Before all the accolades, before we ended up making it in such an, before Neeraj crafted the film so deftly and so beautifully. I mean, I always thought it was a special story and so rare to get to see a film like this in today's times. There is an idea of Indian cinema. We used to make social cinema. We used to make films of the likes of Bimal Roy and Raj Kapoor and Satyajit Ray and Guru Dutt, and that used to be our voice. And it's rare to see those kind of films today. And I think Neeraj is, and it's not me saying this. I've been reading so much where people are saying these names in the same breath with Homebound, and it makes me really proud. And I just think it's a story that's much bigger than all of us. So thank you. So I'm very proud of it.
I totally get that because I still remember watching Dobhiga Zameen as a child, wo black and white Doordarshan pe aati thi jab picture.
Ji.
And it really, because you could not relate to their identity, but as you grew up, these movies once again came and you used to get so angry. But you are right, Homebound is not preachy. It's not preachy in any way. But I also want to ask you, when Shoaib came to you, when you first read him, and that entire journey that you have, that entire movie is also the journey with the movie, and now Oscar hopeful, and I have a very strong feeling that you guys will get there. What has that been like for you, really? What has that really been like to you when first Shoaib came, immersing yourself? And nowhere did I see Ishaan in Shoaib. I did not see Ishaan, at all. I mean, I didn't really, I mean, it wasn't Ishaan. I mean, I saw you in Royals. I was like, "There thoda Ishaan ka wo hai jhalak usme."
It
But
needed it.
it needed that cockiness and it needed that suave thing. But Shoaib
Oh
ne
no,
kahin
Ishan is cocky for you.
no, no, not Ishaan.
The character.
The character.
Yeah.
Ishaan, I like.
No,
It's the
but
kind
thank
of
you for
guy I
saying that,
know.
ma'am. Thank
Yeah.
you. That's the highest compliment for an actor.
But
And no, I just think that we're a conduit for these characters, and these are the the kinds of characters that are not we don't see anymore in cinema, and they're grossly underrepresented. Also, I think, and it just made it so much more real and so much more of a responsibility. And it just felt like there's thousands of Shoaibs and Chandans, that will get a voice through this. And um, it just felt more than just self-important. This film is bigger than us, and that is a very humbling feeling. And I really aspire to be a part of more films that and stories that expand my own humanity in that way. And this did that. I was really, I think it struck me when I read it the first time. I was like, this film is a very important film for the world to see, not just our country. Of course, it's a very specific story that has its highest social relevance here.
yeah,
And but I think Neeraj is a very special filmmaker. It starts with his deep care and his own humanity, his own social consciousness, his own um, endeavor to, give a voice to the voiceless in his cinema, which is such a big thing. It's the biggest contribution we can have as artists. And um, so yeah, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me, but it was also a gift for me as an actor because I look for these challenges and I look for these opportunities to immerse myself, because I feel that's who I am, in many ways, as a performer as well. And he gives you that, of course he gives you the wings to fly, but he scares the crap out of you, because he'll give you the most challenging role of your life, which um it was such a welcome thing for me, but also it was so beautifully observed. There was so much said in the unsaid. And so it was a character that needed a performance of your career, that needed to be embodied and that needed to be lived, not just represented. It not just acted, and he actually puts a lot of importance to that. He tells you that, he told us in the beginning, he told me and Vishal that you guys are good actors, so you'll pull off the role, but I don't that's not enough for me. I don't need you to just employ your craft for this, and I don't want you to just give a great performance and sweep us off our feet. This is I want you to try and live these roles, and these characters will not come to you. You have to bridge that gap. You have to go to them. So he doesn't just leave it to imagination. He borrows from reality. He does a lot of prep. He's process oriented. I loved that process. It was, 2-3 months of just working on the dialect. That is the first entry point. Reading, he gave us annihilation of caste, understanding the historical context. And when we were ready, I mean, one thing I was begging him for was, can we just go to these places, you know, and just go to some villages and just, we won't find these characters sitting in an office in Andheri West,
Yeah, yeah.
So he did that. He took us to Barabanki. We went to villages, four of us, and we would just sit with people. They invited us into their homes. The generosity, that they showed us, it was so humbling. It made us feel so small for making a film about something so much bigger than us. And we ate in their houses. We spoke to, and more than anything, I think we came back with something very ephemeral that it's hard to put into words. That we found our characters there, really. And yeah, and the process is probably the best process I've been a part of so far. And I loved it. And so, I've just been just very grateful for this journey from day one.
Absolutely, and that seems that something has also switched in you also. And what I like about Neeraj is he captures the subtleties and the silences.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there? Did you discover some new tool about yourself as an actor? Because I mean, there are tools that you fall back on, but there is something that you discovered, like, man, I can even do this, or maybe, hey, I really don't have the skill set for this.
Um, Not a tool or a skill set, really. I think just maybe just the bar. You know, I think it gave me. So there are some moments that are, as an actor, you the graph of a character, the utar chadhao, the
Ah,
flow, the ebb and flow. That's something that you try to be very conscious about and understand it, and it's like slowly crafting something, um, for it to have the desired effect in the right places. So graphing a character is something that one always works on, but not every film gives you those kind of peaks and lows, and this film, I think what it required and demanded of me as an actor, I think the second I read this role, I knew it was probably going to be the most difficult role that I've played so far in my career, and it proved to be that. And usually, a lot of people have asked me what's the most difficult scene you've shot in this, and usually my answer is that, and this is Vishal's answer, because his most difficult scene was the scene in which we get the results
ah, ah,
and
ah.
we're reading the results. So his answer was that it's usually the scenes that seem simpler that end up being more tricky. And
True.
I have also experienced that in my career so far, but this was the first time where the scene that was the most difficult on the page proved to actually be the most difficult, because I think it needed a pitch of performance that, for it to even land, it needed a pitch of performance that is very difficult to endure, and it's an emotional pitch that, it took the life out of me. And I think it was reminiscent of. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's not seen the film, but the climax was reminiscent of Dilip Saab's scene in Mashal, and you
Oh
know
yeah.
it so it was that kind of a moment, but because that was the part of the film that unfortunately was based in reality, we were so conscious of not being manipulative of it, and um the film was hinging on that in a way. It felt very critical to get that right, um and it really did take, and because you can't there's no one can do that for you, and it really did take the life out of me. And it was difficult for everybody on set. I mean, everybody on set was there were people in tears. I had to go console people after that scene
Oh
on set.
no, I
you
know
know
because that's what I said. Now I didn't see Ishaan. I mean, you guys became the characters. So suddenly
yeah,
you were like, oh my God, Shoaib and they write like Chandan. So I
yeah.
totally get that. But
So that's what it was for me, I think, ma'am. I think it was just discovering a whole new, maybe, range that I can. How much can I push myself?
absolutely. And it's interesting. And before I come to your range, basically, it's been a happy time, from Cannes to, Toronto and possibly, the Kodak Theatre, Oscar very soon. What has that been like? What was it like when, from your premiere at Cannes and suddenly getting the prize at Toronto? What was it like for all of you? I mean, were you expecting it or did it come as a surprise?
Whew, I think Khan was the only thing that I at least I was aware of going into the shoot, because we had to make a deadline in order to be ready with an edit in time to be even submit for Khan. Of course, whether we would get selected or not was we nobody knew, but we were working backwards from a certain date. So we started shooting in September, early in September last year, and we finished in November. It was a very tight shoot.
Yeah.
We shot 95% of the film in one schedule. Um, and then we did the final act of the final walk we did in a schedule in Surat, which was a 4-day schedule. So um, yeah, I mean, I knew about Khan. Khan was just a delight when it finally happened. He called me and he played the whole, game with me, Neeraj, where he was like, "Listen, sit down. I should tell you something," and all that. And then he said, "We've been selected," so that was amazing. And then the journey with that was so special. I mean, it was my first time at Khan, and I think the fact that it was this film just made everything more special. Be it TIFF, be it Melbourne, be it now Neeraj is going to be in Zurich in competition with the film. Um, I think he's on his way there now as we speak. And then finally, the least expected thing was the um, academy entry, because we were just hoping to get our censor certificate and release, in time to be eligible and just in release the film. And that's where all our energies were. And I was on my way back from New York on a flight when the Wi-Fi keeps coming on and off.
Where?
तो वो Wi-Fi 1-2 घंटे के लिए चला गया था, and finally when it reconnected, I had 20 messages, and suddenly people were calling me, and my phone was blowing up. And Neeraj, for the first time in 2 years, gave me a gali. He was like, "Sale, तू phone क्यों नहीं उठा रहा?" And I was like, "I'm on a flight. I can't. What's happening?" And that's when I found out that the academy entry has happened. So it's all been surreal. I was on cloud nine literally when I found out. So
Awesome. But
yeah.
I would also say it's the times of Ishaan Khattar because we've been talking regularly. And also the fact that recently saw you in Royals, I absolutely loved your character because he's just the cocky Milton Boone guy that all
Yeah.
women love, irrespective of age. But I like the kind of dichotomy. And, where the Yuvraj and suddenly you have Shoaib. But what has happened? I've known you from your first film, Majid Majidis. Your choices have been very interesting. Though they have not been what mainstream bolte hain. They've been off track, the road less traveled, as I would say. But what
Yeah.
has shifted most now in this awesome decade that in the way you choose your roles, whether it's your instincts, your timings, what has changed in you?
I think I'm just more sure of who I am, and I think I also like I've been saying this. I feel like I like myself more now. I'm on my own team.
Why do you
I
do that actually? Why do you like
I'm
yourself?
not I'm
You
not as
see,
hard. I'm not as hard on myself. I've seen myself through now. My 20s. I think it's also coming into your own as a young man. That's something that happens. But um, I know that I don't know. I'm proud that I'm a loyal person, and I'm able to balance these parts of myself. I am very ambitious as an artist. I thrive in challenges. I really push myself, but also I'm, I think I'm able to look at things with balance, not be resentful. I'm very lucky. I have a lot of lovely people in my life and a support system, and so I'm glad that I'm proud of the choices. I can sleep well at night. I'm proud of the choices I made. I made all the choices for myself. I don't have anyone else to blame or credit. Um, so yeah, so I'm as I can take ownership of my own journey, and nobody is self-made. Everybody has somebody or the other in their life that shows them a door, a window, something like that. And some are more lucky than others. I have some beautiful people in my life, and I'm very fortunate and grateful for that. And yeah, I guess I'm more of me.
Yeah.
I'm able to be
So
me.
who's that one person, as you said, who keeps showing you the door, the mirror, saying like, "Hello, I'm back." As you said, we
the
all have.
the mirror the mirror I mean, just having people. My mom is the first person that grounds me, and root reminds me of the essence of who I am. But also, I think I've started doing that for myself. I have my elder brother in my life who's, we have a very close relationship. And of course, so there's family, there's friends. I have my friends are still a very close group of my day oneers, school ke dost.
Funny.
So they keep me more than grounded. They keep me underground. Matlab, we joke with each other. Nothing has changed. But at the same time, they're very proud of me. I'm very proud of them. So, um,
It's
yeah,
important.
it's that keeps you rooted.
Absolutely. Also, the fact, as I said, every magazine cover that I see has Ishaan. Everywhere I go, I see Ishaan, and like he's the boss. I mean, literally, can call you the boss. Milan, what was that like? I mean, what was your fanboy moment there? Was it meeting David Beckham? Because I was having a fangirl moment.
Yes, yes, for sure. Definitely. I think he's been such an inspiration. Um, and sports is such a metaphor for life. So, I mean, like, he's definitely, and at that level, at that elite level, I mean, someone like Beckham he's a cultural, force. He's somebody who's shaped culture, not just, you think of Beckham, you think of Bend It Like Beckham, he's literally, um, he's the guy, so
I
that was
totally.
really cool. And just to be there as an ambassador for the same brand, and he was so generous and so kind. And he loved the campaign, fall winter campaign that I was a part of. And it was awesome to meet him. It was definitely a highlight.
So tell me, who's the real Ishaan actually? Like, who do you identify as the real Ishaan? Because we are seeing so many facets of your personality. Who's the real Ishaan?
uh, who's the real Ishan? There are parts of me in everything. I think I try and give myself, I borrow from myself, only try to be truthful in the work that I do. I think definitely more of the real me in my characters than on my social media, for example. I don't think that's a representation of the real world, so to say. But the real me is the guy with my family, with my friends, if you meet me in real life, you'll see the real me. It's that
Absolutely.
simple.
For a moment, we all thought that Yuvraj was the real Ishaan, but now we.
Abhiraj.
अरे यार युवराज तो थे ना.
But so that is a vote of confidence. Thank you. That's what my
Show
intention
it,
was,
and
to
now
make
I'm
you
going
believe
to.
it's real.
Yeah, I know. You know, up now show it. Now next, I wonder what he's going to do next. So, so really interesting. What would you want to tell as we wrap up that young boy who made his debut with Majid Majidi? What is it that you would today want to tell him that you felt that he didn't know?
I don't know. I mean, just to be less hard on yourself, and to nothing. I think I'm proud of, like, I am who I am today because of the journey I went through. And um, yeah, just to be kinder to people. I think Homebound is one of the journeys that has really opened my heart in such a big way. And it it feels like everything that I've been lucky to be a part of has pushed me to become more of who I am on a fundamental level. And this is my most special film because I think it speaks to me on a very human level. And I think I would just be even more thoughtful and kinder. And you can always keep working on that. You have your good days, your bad days. Sometimes people see a side of you that's not the best side of you. But um, I think just to hold that kind of empathy in your heart for every single person, that's a very beautiful and underrated quality, I think. So I would want to carry that with me always. So maybe just remind me myself of that.
Absolutely. I hit run with Royals too. Homebound. Now what next?
Who knows? Who
Who
knows? Hopefully
knows?
surprise you. I'll surprise myself, then I'll surprise you.
I know, as a fan of yours, asked me to ask you, Cannes Red Carpet or Milan Fashion Week? Choose one.
Oh wow, can't red carpet always because I'm a cinephile and I'm a cinema person. So Cannes is like representative of that for me. I loved Milan Fashion Week and I'm very happy to fashion, but I got to fashion at Cannes as well. So I'm and
True
and
that.
it was for my own film, which is the most special thing for me. It was
What is the most unactor-like thing about you?
unactor like thing about
Yeah,
me.
unactor-like thing.
Uh, I guess I'm honest to a fault. I
I get that.
I don't know how to lie very well, or I try
Yeah,
not to at least.
and one question you wish interviewers would ask you more often than not, and the one question that they wouldn't.
More often than not,
Yeah,
anything outside of the typical line of questioning,
I know.
anything, anything,
I just would make it resonated since we are having our
I'm
candid.
I'm just happy to have a conversation, but like there, the problem is this: there are only so many ways of saying something, and I come from a family of linguists and writers and all from my mom's side, so I keep trying to expand. Okay, अब मैं यही चीज कैसे अलग तरीके से कहूँ? But you
I know.
run it unless I start learning a new language and saying it in some other language now. Now Hindi और हिंदुस्तानी और अंग्रेजी से को छोड़ के उसके सिवाय now I'll have to start speaking in some new language to explain it in a different way,
Yeah,
Malaysian or some
yeah.
Japanese.
I saw that. More power to you. All the very best.
Thank you.
We meet again in the next 3 months. हमारा quarter ही
Absolutely.
चल रहा है. Thank you. Take care. Yeah.
See you, man. Thank you so much.
If you've liked this interview, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.